soon. Hi, everyone. Today in this episode, we're going to talk about the pitfalls of having a partnership and what you can do to solve it and prevent any problems, possibly, at least legally. Today, we have a guest here named Harry Loung. He's got his own law firm in Dallas, Texas, and we are very appreciative of his time. Harry, welcome to the show.
Hey, John, thanks for inviting me. Happy to be here.
So, most of our subscribers, our followers are immigrants, because this is an immigration channel with sharing breaking news and tips. But, a lot of our clients who are immigrants also are business owners. So I think what you have to share will be very helpful to them as they, especially as they obtain legal status in the future, and then, eventually may expand their business.
Yeah, one of the main things about starting a business is that it's really exciting for many of us to strike out on our own. Essentially, we are in control of our own destiny. However, sometimes it is, it's a scary feat to go into, and sometimes we do want to go into a business with other people because that, one, they might have expertise in one side of the business. Another thing is, it's a comfort type of situation, two people going in it together. Another one is financial reasons. When you pool two people's financial resources, two or more, it creates a better foundation for the business. So, it's definitely a fun thing to do to start a business. But one of the things that I wanted to talk about is partnership agreements, right? So what happens when you do enter a business with another person? So that is something that I would like to discuss a little more in detail, as much as possible.
Sure, Harry. And so, Harry, you mentioned a good point. When you start a company on your own, especially, it's exciting, and then you get excited again when you're like, yeah, I want to expand, and I like to have someone that's complementary, right? A partner, or whether there's equity, a partner, or that doesn't do anything but just puts in money to your company, or just someone that does sweat equity, right? So it's exciting in the beginning, but this channel, we're here to solve your problem and really try to prevent it by sharing problems, right? We both have similar experience. And so friends, welcome to Green Card Guys TV. Stay all the way to the end so you hear all our stories, and then hopefully it could help your situation. So Harry, if I can put it back to you, can you share a story, experience? Of course, don't share a client's name or anything. Share what has happened to one of your clients.
Yeah, so this is a situation that happens to many of us, right? So when we enter into a partnership agreement, everybody is happy. The unfortunate part of it is that sometimes we don't really go into details about how things are going to be divided, especially when it comes to when it comes to money, right? That is one of the biggest issues that come up is how do we divide our profits, right? So some people will assume 50-50. Some people will assume essentially an eat what you kill, like what do you bring in is how much you take out. So when partners are when they think one thing, but the other partner thinks another, that's when they get into a lot of trouble. And that's where a partnership agreement can really help out.
I don't want to be too specific on cultures or ethnicities, but does it seem that certain ethnicities tend to not be upfront and transparent? Not trying to say they're hiding something necessarily, but they're just kind of mum and they feel like there's a unspoken agreement.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Can you hold on for a second real quick?
Sure.
Sorry. All right, I'm sorry about that. So when it comes to different types of ethnicities, different types of cultures, it takes into a very large account. So for instance, Chinese people are harder to trust strangers and easier to trust family members. So if a family member vouches for another person, or if it is a family member, there is more of a, hey, let's go ahead and just do this. We can handshake on it. While in Western cultures, the handshake deal is more prevalent with people outside the family. So, it just really depends on where it is. So handshake deals, what I mean is agreements without writing it down, is prevalent across all cultures, but it just really depends on who it is and how they came to it.
Harry, that's a great point. Thanks for mentioning that distinction. And y'all out there watching this, if you're not a business owner, but you are like an equity partner, or you're just investing money into a company, and especially if this is a family member, this is gold right here. You need to have a written agreement, like a promissory note or something that tells you when you're getting your money back and how much. Right, Harry? What do you think?
Yeah, exactly. And so we're just going to use the term in general. There are specific terms for each type of entity. So if you have a corporation, it's called something. If you have a LLC, it's called something else. But we're just going to use the term in general as a partnership agreement because, again, we're talking about partners here.
That's
so
true.
When we talk about partnership agreements, it is very important that everybody is on the same page, right? So when you're talking about distributions, what happens if we, come to an end, or even things such as working hours, those really need to be essentially spoken and not assumed, because there's many times where I will get a client coming in and they say, look, this partnership's not working. I show up to the office every morning at 6 a.m. and I don't leave until 8 p.m. However, my partner strolls in at 11:30, then takes an hour and a half lunch, and then he's gone for the day by 4 o'clock. And so that starts to build a little animosity between the partners, because if you have a 50-50 split of the profits, one partner is working 10, 12-hour days, while the other one appears to only be working 2 or 3 hours. So in this situation, again, it would be best avoided by speaking it out in the beginning and then putting it on paper so that everybody knows what the expectations are.
Yeah, that's really the right way to go. Oftentimes, regardless of ethnicity or culture, most people are just usually trusting of each other, right? But you and I have seen really bad situations when it comes to money, and especially with family. So what other than like a partnership agreement or any kind of legal document, can you share just a little bit of one of your civil litigation cases? And because just a basic question people usually have is, how long does this case take, and how much money will I be spending defending or going after someone for money?
Yeah, that's a great question, and really, when it comes to litigation, especially when it comes to situations such as these, you can expect it to last quite some time. Without a partnership agreement, both attorneys need to, and when I say both attorneys, so attorneys, if there are attorneys representing each partner, needs to try to establish what the agreement is, right? So it's easier to establish, yes, we had a business, yes, we worked together, but the power dynamic within that business needs to be established. And if it's mostly by spoken word, text messages that are scattered throughout, or emails scattered throughout, you can really expect a longer litigation time period, because everything needs to be fleshed out and pulled out together. So when there's partnership disputes, it's not as cut and dry to say, I'm a partner, we agreed 50-50, when the other side says, I'm a partner, and we're supposed to get a portion of whatever we bring in. So it's when one side says one thing, the other side says another, we're looking at a lot of, exactly. It just really just draws out the litigation time period, and it makes it very difficult and very expensive.
This can go into double-digit thousands, right?
Oh, yeah. Depending on the business, it is. I mean, if it's a very profitable business, you're looking into double digits. So it's a very, very expensive situation that could have been addressed in the beginning.
So with that being said, Harry, would you say, this is just ballpark, that it's much cheaper to hire one of us, especially you, to prevent the situation, try to prevent as many problems possible with some kind of partnership agreement or company agreement?
Yeah, I would say that would be an accurate assessment of it.
It won't cost double-digit thousands for.
No, definitely not. Not double-digit thousands. It's not inexpensive by any means, especially when you're starting a business, right? Every dollar counts, and it's very hard to just kind of find that extra a couple hundred, maybe $1,000, $2,000 to however much the attorney is to do it. But when you do it, you want to do it correctly, and that is really something that you don't want to. I guess when it comes to making sure that it's done correctly, you want that to happen. We want longevity for every business. However, the statistics say that more often than not, business startups fail, and so you want to try to prevent any further arguments when when an unfortunate event happens.
Right. Well, Harry, that was very helpful. This is the first video in this series on how to help business owners, entrepreneurs. So we'll have you back on in the future. Absolutely. Thank you so much for your advice. But thank you for sharing those stories. But is there any lasting information you'd like to share with the audience?
Really, a partnership agreement is a contract. We deal with contracts every day, from our cell phones to mortgages to rental agreements. And these documents, although, can be large, tedious, they're really there to protect us in case things start to go sideways. And so it is very important that you at least get one so that you can protect yourself when things do start to move in a way that you don't want it to.
Okay, great. And I was going to say, a tip from my end is, please hire a licensed lawyer. Try not to use what do you call that, LegalZoom, or what do you call, just Googling it, internet search your own, because you may assume all those provisions cover all that you need, but in fact, there's so many more provisions that you just may not have thought of. And so that's the purpose. One reason of hiring a lawyer, I guess, maybe not face-to-face these days, but, at least someone who you'll have that conversation with, that understands your business and what your outlook and your purpose is for your company in the future.
And that's right. And I'm sorry, to interject right before we go, but that is a great point, because experience, the experience of the attorney matters a lot, right? So I've seen a lot of business formations. I've done a lot of civil litigation, especially when it comes to, partners splitting up. So when you hire an attorney, a licensed attorney, they have a little more insight as to, okay, I've seen these pitfalls before. I've seen,
Right.
where this kind of goes to the
Right.
side, even though the agreement says A, it didn't really apply that way, especially during litigation. So I can change it. So if you have like a self-help, a computer that does it for you, it doesn't have any of that experience. It's just going to
Right.
give you whatever it's in its program, and it won't know that, this paragraph, although it sounds great on
Right.
paper, it doesn't actually really work in real life.
It's like fitting a cylinder block into a circular hole. It's not going to be perfect.
Right.
It does not match your situation.
Correct. Yeah. So when you get a licensed attorney, they can apply their experience and say, okay, we need to tweak this and we need to move that.
And Harry, you make
to better
another good
apply.
point. You make another good point is that, there are probably some lawyers, not trying to take, anything away from them, but there's some lawyers that shy away from litigation cases, which means if y'all watching don't understand what litigation means, it's really suing someone in court or defending a case in court. And so that's what litigation is. But yeah, having a lawyer that has litigation background, we believe is more helpful in creating those legal documents.
Definitely. I would agree to that. Yeah.
Okay, Harry. Well, I appreciate your time. We look forward to having you on board in the future. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Oh, and
I
I see your number down below by your name. Is there any other way that you'd like anyone in the audience to contact you? Or is that the best way?
You can go to our website. It's www.thehklawfirm.com, and you can find us there, and feel free to reach out to me.
All right. Thanks, Harry. You have a good one.
Thank you, John. I appreciate it.